Stunning claims from RFK Jr., head of the Department of Health and Human Services, which is partly responsible for the welfare of unaccompanied children who cross the border into the United States.
During the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
That is an extraordinary charge, and it's something that we have talked about here on the story in the past, but this is huge. So a recent DHS IG report found that 233,000 unaccompanied children in the United States had not appeared for their date in court, and that put them, quote, at a higher risk for trafficking, exploitation, or forced labor. Now, the report found that one home many of them were sent to, these children, was in an area that was, quote, run by gangs with daily shootings. One child in that area ended up joining a gang. Another home turned out to be a dilapidated motel. No kitchen. Former U.S. Secretary Border Patrol Chief Chris Clem served as a senior advisor to RFK Jr. in the first 100 days he has worked on this issue over those 100 days, and he has not spoken about what he has discovered or put in place until now. So, Chris, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for your work and efforts towards helping these children. So explain to us what RFK Jr. means when he says that in the past, under the Biden administration, HHS had a role as the vector, a principal factor in this country towards child trafficking. What were they doing?
Well, thank you, Martha, for bringing this story to light. It's such an important, and you've covered it, your network has covered it, but what the secretary mentioned was a very proud moment for us, because we have ended what he mentioned as the vector and the conduit, because every unaccompanied alien child that crosses the border illegally has to go into the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which belongs to HHS. And the policies and practices by the Biden administration allowed these children to be, at the border was catching and releasing families and single adults. Basically, OR was releasing these unaccompanied children to virtually unvetted sponsors. They put practices in place to where fraud documents, multiple sponsors, zero follow-ups, biometric confirmation that these people actually have family ties was all pretty much eliminated. And these children were just let go. Yeah. And as the lead into this, you heard those horror stories. Again, the things that I've seen didn't surprise me, but some of it was very shocking that we would actually allow people to submit digitally manipulated photographs, fraudulent documents, not even cleared or completed applications for sponsorship. Yet we were putting these children into their custody and their care. And I mean, that's just horrible. I can tell you with confidence, we have ended those practices. We have put several safeguards in place. And whether you're an employee or a sponsor or somebody in between, if you ever knowingly and willingly put somebody in harm's way, especially a child, they're coming after you. The Department of Justice, Homeland Security, the entire way of the government is ending this practice.
Yeah. So it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Biden administration didn't want to keep these children in their shelters. They wanted to push them out to whoever was going to come pick them up. And so the bar for identifying yourself and saying, yes, it's okay, I'm their aunt, I'm their uncle, I'm a family member, the bar for passing that test was almost non-existent, according to what you're telling me. In some cases, and tell me if this is wrong, there was one individual with a license or identification that didn't even match his face, who picked up 100 kids or somewhere in that area. Is that accurate?
As far as the fake documentation, that is one of the biggest problems that we're seeing. I think over 70% of the cases that we're finding right now have fraud documentation. As far as 100 kids, I'm not sure, but there are some super sponsors out there that have sponsored, 2, 3 or more, dozens of more children. And I mean, that's a red flag right off the bat. So, I mean, it's really ridiculous that we've even got to this point. But I can tell you, those are the things that we have ended. We ended those early on in this administration. The Trump administration, supported by Secretary Kennedy, as well as the front office staff, has given me the ability to be able to put these safeguards in place. And we start this, Martha, from the moment they're encountered by law enforcement. Our CBP and DHS and DOJ partners are following up. So when we get a child finally in custody, we've already begun the checks and balances to send a message that if you're going to send for or traffic a child, there is going to be a consequence. And you're going to start seeing some things really roll out. I can tell you, I don't want to get out in front of too much of the administration, but let me tell you, that was one of the third and most important legs of the Trump administration's border and immigration security stance. Secure the border, interior enforcement, and find these kids.
All
And
right, that's my
underway.
question. I'm out of time, really, but I want to ask you just to a very quick one, because I know not a lot of people crossing the border anymore. So that part of the problem is hopefully solved. But there are a lot of children who are here, and they are in sweatshops in California, working for no dollars an hour and being held there by people who are not upstanding citizens. So how are you going to find those children and get them to safety?
We are working and providing complementary and supplemental information directly to law enforcement because those are all criminal charges. Everything you just mentioned, if you've got a child in labor working in horrible conditions, those are all criminal charges. So we're doing everything we can to support the law enforcement side of this equation. They're going after, they're knocking on doors every day as we're speaking. Those operations are unfolding. The American people are going to be very proud of what this administration has accomplished and will continue to accomplish.
Yeah, we need to get these kids to safety because a lot of them are in perilous situations and they're still out there. So, Chris Clem, thank you very much. I hope you'll come back as we follow up on this story. Thank you, sir. Thanks for everything you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.